Hey Cancer, and welcome to your February 2021 general reading. This could apply to your sun, moon, rising, or Venus. The messages could always go vice versa. And just remember that it could also apply to somebody that you're closely dealing with or in some kind of situationship with. All right, so Cancer, what I'm seeing going on here is it does look like you have, the theme of your month is karmic reward or justice. So if you have been planting good seeds and you've been doing what you feel is right, which I feel like you have because your current energy is like, this card literally represents a nun, has a nun on it. You could be dealing with Sagittarius or a Leo. But I do feel like you're bringing balance in from your, as above, so below. So you're balancing out your ability to have some kind of spiritual, equilibrium along with what's existing on your material plane. And it's almost as if you've changed your perception, like you've had a sudden awakening and started seeing and perceiving things differently in the month of February. So if you have been doing well, you will get those rewards. I would also advise that if you have been thinking about starting a business, now is a good time. There is a chance of receiving some kind of like material gain or reward when it comes to other people that you've been good to. Make sure to lend a hand to the people who are not feeling quite as well, because it will pay off in the end, and don't get burnout. All right, so in the position of the key goal to pursue, you have the Six of Wands, and that literally represents victory. It's also a Leo card. So the Six of Wands upright is basically victory, award, recognition, good news, and success. So those are the things you're going to be achieving this month. I do believe you're going to be using your strength and your willpower to maintain some kind of balance here to create these outcomes for yourself. So far, this reading's looking really great, Cancer. Like, it doesn't get much better than this at this point. So then in the position of the obstacle that you need to overcome is the Hermit in reverse. And the Hermit in reverse could be dealing with a Virgo, it doesn't have to be. But the Hermit in reverse is pretty much loneliness, isolation, repeating past mistakes, and being stuck. So I feel like you need to come out of your head. If you're afraid that you're going to repeat a past mistake that you had done in the past, and that it's almost like I feel like you're afraid of your own impulses or emotional impulses, or you're afraid of somebody else's emotional impulses. Either which way, I think that those times are over, and that you have gained some kind of awareness or self-awareness that's going to allow you to start reaping the benefits. It's like one of those things that once you see something for what it is, you can't unsee it, even other people. And if you can identify those traits in other people, you can identify those traits within yourself, because you would not be able to recognize those traits within other people if first they didn't exist within you at some point in time. But I do feel with the connecting cards here that you have gotten to that point, and it's okay to come out of your shell. You're going to be able to make those good decisions. And, I think that you've developed a better spiritual, intuitive connection here. And then in the position of a major accomplishment is the King of Swords in the upright. You could be dealing with a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But I really feel like you are practicing your ability to say no. No to yourself and no to others. Maybe to others who use you, or like, let's say in a situation such as when you donate your time or services, it becomes an expectation. Like you are going to be self-sufficient, and you are going to be completely honest. Just try to be honest with love. Like, don't be impulsively honest here. But, because, how does that quote go? Truth without love is deceit, and love without truth is a weapon, is what this reminds me of. So I do believe that you're going to need to use your strength, your inner strength, to be aware of how blunt you come across once you get the hang of saying no. Like, you may just be like, you get a no, everyone gets a no. All right, so in the position of what to avoid is the Knight of Wands in reverse. So the Knight of Wands in reverse is being sexually excessive, impulsive, impulsivity just in general, or a chaotic person. So I believe that this is what you're in the Hermit about. This could also be a Leo, Sagittarius, Aries that you may be dealing with, but I do feel like you're going to overcome this because of this newfound balance that you have. So even if you did have an issue with, let's say, like being alone and not dating, or let's say you had an issue with gambling, whatever it was, like you've had some kind of realization here that you're going to realize exactly what it is that those kind of behaviors or whatever bring on in your life and how it burdens them, like the ripple effect of how it doesn't just affect one thing, it affects this, it affects that, the second and third order effects of it. Here in the position of what to embrace is the Ten of Wands. So that's kind of confusing. We'll see here. So the Ten of Wands is stress, exhaustion, too many burdens. So I guess maybe what to embrace about this is like be grateful that you have those burdens. A lot of people would pray for them, even if you don't kill or die for them. And you've got plenty of things. Instead of maybe looking at them as burdens, start looking at them as blessings. And mind you, this could go for somebody that you're dealing with, maybe having these epiphanies and realizations also. Who you can look to for support and guidance is the Empress in the upright. And the Empress in the upright is creation, pregnancy, abundance, fertility, good parenting. So this could definitely be that you're dealing with, maybe you have a wife, maybe you have a baby mother, maybe your mother, are good places to look for support. And maybe it's that you need to overcome withholding so much from this person and being more openly honest and communicating with them about the burdens that you feel like you're carrying. Like how, you can't expect somebody just to know, especially if they've got their own burdens going on or whatnot. Not always is somebody's neglect intentional, if that makes any sense. So then in the final position here of advice and encouragement, you have the Nine of Wands. Oh, and the Empress could be a Taurus or a Libra. You are, did I say Nine of Wands? The Page of Wands in the upright. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So what you need to be embracing is that you may have a active, healthy kid or a new project, or there may be some kind of creative idea that leads you to do some kind of research and expansion of the mind. I also feel here, because we have the Eight of Wands over here, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Sagittarius to be more specific, you may be going on some kind of travel for training, maybe job related, maybe just to experience other cultures, maybe to understand different philosophies, morals, ethics, that sort of stuff. All right, so besides the tarot cards, I did pull a couple oracle cards here. One of the oracle cards you have is Ink, I think is how you pronounce it. I could be completely wrong. Let me find the book here. I just had it out. There it is. So the meaning of Ink is sometimes I feel as though we're just going through the necessary motions and deep insides, and our deep insides are wasting away. You have been dealing with some of these feelings recently. It's as if everything has lost its luster and you've fallen down a rabbit hole. Nothing is horribly wrong, but nothing is quite right either. When you're having one of those days, use the energy of this card to turn these feelings around. Hold the card in your hand, stare at the symbol, and repeat the words strength, health, and life 3 times. The number 3 resonates with the energies of optimism and joy, manifesting your desires and clarity. So the incantation for this card is, I'm strong and healthy, full of life, free me from my daily strife. Life will change from dark to light. The future does indeed look bright. So Yeah, be careful of getting in those self-pity pots maybe when you're getting burned out, you know, because like when you start getting negative or getting in a negative vibration like that, it just kind of holds up those blessings that you're waiting on. So then in the Blind Spot Oracle by Teal Swain, you got the number 13, which also breaks down to a 4. So this may be correlating with your home life, or literally the number 4 is the 4th house, which would be Cancer or private life. It could be about tradition, childhood, those kind of things. So the goodness, if you have drawn this, you and potentially they are not clearly seeing the goodness, capability, or excellence of the other person, people involved in this situation. You're currently only aware of negatives and potential negatives. As a result, you are making decisions and taking actions relative to that person, those people, that will not end up benefiting them or you. Ask yourself, what am I so afraid of that will happen if I admit to what is truly good and capable and excellent about them? Perhaps if we admit to their goodness, capability, or excellence, we will have to admit to our badness, incapability, or failure. Perhaps we are distrusting of others and taking note of their negatives so that we keep ourselves safe. If we see what is negative about them, we can justify protecting ourselves against potential ways they could injure us, and thus shutting ourselves off to them, or using criticism to try and get them to change. Know that you may have a very real tendency of interpreting other people's behaviors as having hostile intent, even when their behavior and intentions are either ambiguous or benign. Intention is everything when it comes to criticism and sharing our opinion. We have to be aware of why we feel the need to criticize and to share that opinion. And even if we have good intentions, we still must ask ourselves if, despite good intentions, our critique is harming the other person. The prerogative with negative criticism is to try to push something unwanted away from you. This is why it feels so resistant in nature. We are only critical of something when we are afraid we will be affected by it. Criticism is a cry for help in disguise. It is a cry for help that says, I feel powerless to others, and so I can't trust myself to make myself feel good, and especially to feel emotionally safe. So I need you to correct this thing that is going to cause me pain so I don't have to feel bad. Also, when we have the tendency to criticize because we are trying to get a need met, we mask our criticism underneath the guise of help. If you have drawn this sigil in the situation at hand, either you do not see the other person's goodness, capability, and excellence, or they do not see those qualities themselves or within each other. It would be wise to open your awareness and see it so that you can make decisions and take actions that benefit both you and them. I think I kind of touched on that a little bit ago with that whole quote of, truth or love without truth is deceit, and then truth without love is a weapon. So just be very careful of that. I do think you're going to be working on that throughout the month and maybe trying to see a better perspective. It's like we're just made up of chemicals and energy, and everything we do is driven by those chemicals. So if we're constantly focusing on negative, depressing things, we're just going to produce more negative, depressing chemicals. And then it just becomes repertoire to us, and it just repeats and repeats. And it becomes harder and harder to break that cycle, because this is what becomes sort of like, an addiction of sorts. So try and at least once a day, maybe tell yourself what's great about you and what's great about the people that are around you and the things that you're grateful of without, including any kind of criticism. And if you're dealing with somebody who's doing this to you, maybe suggest doing the same. Maybe look at them and say, hey, smile. Just smile for me for 10 seconds and see if they don't, by the end of that 10 seconds, have a genuine smile on their face. All right, Cancer, that's what I have for your February 2021 general reading. I hope that I'm able to assist somebody. Please like, share, subscribe. I do have a Patreon channel where I post many more readings, including love readings and so forth. I'd love to have you there if you'd like to join us. We'd love to have you. If this is where we part ways, I will be back soon with another reading. Take care, Cancer.